What is going on, everybody? Lukey Boy here. So today's video is going to be a bit different, but also quite cool. Related to NFTs, but you know, a lot of what I do isn't exclusive to NFTs, but this is actually talking about the Sipher initial public sale for their token. So what you want to sort of gauge or figure out is that this is related to the Cypherian Flash and Cypherian Surge NFTs that I have been talking about before, and I've been doing a lot of flipping these, buying these down a little bit cheaper than this, and it kind of bounces around. You can kind of see it's, you know, it kind of goes up and down quite often, and you just want to catch the light, even though that's not actually the average price there. It's not going to be the lows because it's an average price because of the rarity. Obviously people paying more money for the rare ones than the cheaper, so that's why the average looks high. But the line still applies, meaning even though it's actually the average, the price I'll be getting in is probably not that high. It's pretty lower. I'm obviously just trying to buy and sell, you know, on the highs and the lows. Obviously, yes, it could go up. It could, you know, go past what it's been doing. But if you look at the last kind of 30 days, it's pretty much just, you know, been doing the same thing. And that's why I've been adopting that. But what you want to know is that actually these characters aren't just, I'd say pretty pictures, but they're not really pretty, are they? They're not just, you know, characters. You can play with them in a game. And so ultimately, if you hold, the Cypherian Surge was like the genesis, meaning the first. Then there was the Cypherian Flash, and they're going to bring out another 2 later. So you can see the prices reflect. Obviously, the first generation is more expensive. The second generation's currently cheaper, and that probably will apply across the board as the new ones come out, because what it's kind of implying is that even though it's not necessarily reflective in gameplay, like this one isn't going to be worse than this one, it has other economics involved, meaning what you can do with these is you can clone them. So if you play the game with these characters, you can go in to a section of the game, because it's like a world, so there'd be like you can walk around and you can sort of do stuff, and you can go ahead and clone these, and obviously it's not free. For example, there's normally tokenomics involved, meaning, you know, there's some sort of economy, cash economy that's sort of using this, or being transferred and transacted to get this. So if you wanted to obviously clone this, there would be certain things involved. You know, it might be like a 70% chance of actually having a successful clone, and the cost of it will be some of the tokens. Yeah, so obviously you can just go ahead and crack on with the NFTs, but if there's certain projects you really like and really think have a potential future, which for me has been Cypherian Surge. At the beginning I wasn't sure, but as I've sort of researched it and watched it and understood and seen what they've been doing, I have decided that this is something I want to go quite long term into. Even though at the moment I currently don't hold any of these, but what I have gone and done is I've gone and basically purchased 1 Ethereum of this. So as you can see, they've raised this much so far, and there's a day and a half left, or whatever you want to call it. And once they get to $14.5 million, I believe, it's finished. Because all I did is I worked out if this is the cost of a token, that's how many tokens they've got. Obviously, how much do they need to raise before all their tokens are sold out. And there are other things involved with this as well. So this isn't everything. So if you play the game, you'll get paid tokens. You get, just like you play World of Warcraft, you get gold and all that kind of thing. Same kind of principle. It's just that obviously everything you own in the game, the characters, the stuff you find, the upgrades, obviously it all actually has a monetary value because you all have ownership. Not unlike World of Warcraft. Obviously people did buy and sell things on that game, but they didn't actually own it. Same as like Fortnite, people buy skins for like $200 to look cool, and it also makes them potentially look like they're better characters, even if they're not, but you get what I mean. But with this, obviously each thing has a value and you can transact. And so I've gone and purchased this because I want to actually play this game. So there's about 35%, unless I'm mistaken, of tokens that are getting offered here, or maybe 50, whatever. It's not the whole amount. And there's different amounts going to different things. So there's stuff to do with airdrops. So if you hold these, the longer you hold these, the more tokens you'll get airdrop for free. So it's basically rewarding you for investing in the company. Yeah, you know, in theory, you could see that as one share. You're investing and you got paid, yeah, in various different ways, unlike almost like a dividend, I guess, if you want to see it as that. You'll get airdrops from tokens, and obviously you could go ahead and sell those tokens. See, easy. If you didn't have any involvement or want to have any involvement in the game that's actually coming up, and I want to actually get involved with the game because I want to play a blockchain game that I want to enjoy, and from what I've seen, I will. It's a lot, you know, obviously there's a lot to develop in this game. It's not coming out till next year, various things like that. So that's fair enough. You obviously take that into consideration. And that's kind of the amount of tokens I'll probably be getting. It's just estimated, just depending on if it sells out or not, which I suspect it will. They will raise the full funds. Obviously that will then go to their development team and marketing and all that kind of thing to make the game better and get it out there. So again, good on that front. And they have, you know, I'm not going to go into the details of the actual game itself, but just as a rough look, you basically can have, like, later on they'll have land. You can go ahead and trade items if you find them, and you would then get, obviously, Sipher. The Sipher token would be involved in that marketplace. You can go ahead and do different types of, like, story play. You can have factions, and obviously there's ownership and transparency. There's factions. There's going to be like cash reward tournaments and stuff, and you know, kind of like imagine a professional gamer, but this is kind of like the future of professional gaming, because you will actually own everything that you get or collect in the game, unlike today's world. You know, definitely with like FIFA Ultimate Team, the amount of money people pay for coins, to buy coins, to open packs, to get a player to then add and play with that player in their squad, because you've Ultimate Teams where you have to get the cards, very similar looking to these kind of things, to then add them into your football team to play with them. Otherwise you have to play, basically you have to buy cheap players, and you get some free players at the beginning that are worthless. Same kind of thing. But people spend, you know, hundreds and hundreds of pounds a month, and I used to do it because I loved the game, but there was no value in them as such. You could sell them for coins and then buy other things, but the coins couldn't be transacted outside of the game. With this, that is the opposite. You can do everything. You can go into, you could transfer your tokens to an exchange and sell them and all that kind of thing. But I guess they're going to have it built into their website anyway. And for me, this is a long-term hold, because if you've ever seen some of these other, I'm just going to move my face. I did have Axie up here, but some of these other gaming tokens, I'm not sure which one I did. Maybe it was this one. Is this the right one? Let's jump to the daily. Let's get rid of the volume indicator. Yeah, so you can see here, you know, not that long ago, July 9th, well, my birthday, but back here in 21st, it was at $15 and it got to 164. Now, obviously, this is it's not like a direct correlation to every single gaming token, of course not, but a lot of the gaming tokens are related to what? The metaverse. And even if they're going to start by just being a standalone world themselves, eventually a lot of these worlds are going to link. So what you find is a lot of these companies are doing partnerships with other companies where they can integrate, because it's all through the Ethereum blockchain, which can then therefore be integrated together at some point. So you'll find that there'll be a lot of crossovers as time progresses with games later on. I don't know if you've ever seen Ready Player One. There's like a million different worlds within that place they go, and the Oasis, I think they call it. And in that they can go to different worlds. So you can basically, it's almost like, you know, you go to like think of I don't know why it came to my mind. You know, like Monsters Inc. When they go and they have all those doors, and you just select a door you want to go in, it takes you to another world. That's a bit, well, not another world because they're all kind of the same world, but it's Earth. But you get what I mean. It's that you would go to a place, you would then select the place you want to go, and you would go in and you could do stuff in it. And it would be almost the same as that, basically. And again, you can go ahead and you can read like this. It just takes you into like a million bits of different information. And later on, they're going to have like, well, this is like an Nexus program. It just gives you a little like view of, you know, how it'll be a market. You can walk around, and then you can go and play like games, but also you can do other things. You could then like loan out your ciphers to people that want to actually play the game, because to play the game you have to own either one of these, and then or one of the new two NFT drops they're going to be doing in the future. So you need to have some sort of entry. It's like a CD key, they call it. You know, well, it is like a CD key. Instead of buying a game, it's free, but you have to obviously have something to enter the game, which is going to be an NFT. And so you can loan them and rent them and all that kind of thing. And for me, it's just really cool. I like the more that I've watched and looked at, the cooler it looks and seems. Again, I could spend about an hour going into the details and the fine and everything they're going to be doing. If it looks like something you're interested in, cool. If it's not, then cool again. But this is something that, even though it's not directly related to an NFT, well, I guess it is directly related to an NFT because Sipher has launched their game, but starting on the NFT platform. But this is just like another side thing. So a lot of people that in the NFT space will also go ahead and have a side play, maybe you want to call it that, on the tokens that are attributed to the NFTs because they believe in the NFT and therefore they're going to believe in the token. And it's just another way of, it's not spreading your risk as such because it is related, but in a way it also is spreading your risk because the price of the token won't necessarily reflect always the floor price of these. The floor price of these it's actually been going down as this token sale goes up. It doesn't mean that people won't, sell off and buy in and move stuff around later, but it just gives you another. Instead of having loads of these, you can just spread out a little bit into something slightly different. And again, it's not obviously as quick to sell these, but with this, if you want to an exchange, you could pretty much sell it within 5 minutes. I could withdraw it or whatever and change it right now, and then cash out my Ethereum. Where obviously on here you actually have to list it, and then someone has to buy it, so it's slightly delayed by a little longer. Doesn't mean it won't take an hour, could take 30 minutes, but it's just a little bit more delay in selling stuff, where this is a little bit quicker. And so I went ahead and invested in this because I really want to get involved with the game, so I want to get stuck in. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to play the game to obviously hedge yourself a little bit with the tokens. Again, there's not financial advisor, not financial advisor. Obviously everything's at your own risk, but this is something I feel like I can contribute a little to. So I could have put more into this, but this is enough for me just to at least see what's going on. That's the same with NFT. You don't want to spread all your money in one thing. Definitely one NFT. That's the worst thing you want to do because, even now with plenty of different NFTs, I sometimes think, I've got 3 of those. Maybe I should have just got 2 because then I could have another bit of equity to buy something else. And then obviously that gives you more options if prices change on different things. So you want to be fluid in terms of where how you're getting your capital into things and then out. If you've got everything, if I just invested all in this and it was at a low price, I'm basically stuck until that price changes. But if I've got lots of different money in my all these different pots or my hands and whatever that saying is, then I'm going to obviously have more options. And so that is going to be everything for me. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all on the next one.